दीनबन्धु कृपा सिन्धु श्री हरि पावनांग हे मोहांग वासुदेव श्री हरि राम कृष्ण हरि मुकुंद मुरारी पांडुरंग 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 हरि ज्ञानदेव संस्तुता नामदेव कीर्तिता तुकाराम पूजिता दास केशव सनुता राम कृष्ण हरि मुकुंद मुरारी पांडुरंग 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 हरि राम कृष्ण हरि मुकुंद मुरारी पांडुरंग 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 हरि राम कृष्ण हरि मुकुंद मुरारी पांडुरंग 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 हरि पांडुरंग 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 हरि पांडुरंग 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 हरि
Shri Krishna Nama Bolo, Shri Krishna Nama Bolo, Shri Krishna Nama Bolo, Shri Krishna Nama Bolo.
Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo,
Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo.
Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri
What a very elegant quote.
Shivananda
Is from
Bolo,
China?
Shri Shivananda
Is from China?
Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo.
Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo,
Shri Shivananda Bolo, Shri Shivananda Bolo.
Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Bol कृष्ण भगवान की जय। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरे परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। गोविन्द 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 कानन वासुदेव गोविन्द 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 गोविन्द। Radiant immortal Atma, beloved Jignasus, thirsting for knowledge that enlightens and illumines and wisdom that liberates. We are through the three chapters, the first three chapters of the Bhagavad Gita wisdom teachings yesterday, and the days passed, and we had just entered into the fourth chapter, when after having taught Arjuna Vedanta, the secret of Karma Yoga, the great teacher Lord Krishna says, this secret teaching that I have now imparted to you, long ages ago I imparted to Vivaswan. He in turn taught it to Manu, and Manu taught it to Ikshvaku, a great king, and that king gave it to his successors, and the whole line of kings illumined with this knowledge for the secret of life, a spiritual life in and through active life. Illumined with this knowledge, they ruled their kingdom. This line of kings ruled their kingdom wisely and well, and at the same time attained also spiritual progress. Thus, about this secret science, Krishna informs Arjuna and leaves Arjuna a little puzzled. Krishna is my contemporary. He is not much older than me. I know where he is born. I know his parents. And it's strange, he says, he taught someone who lived in bygone ages. I cannot understand. So I had better clarify this point. He says, what is it you say? Krishna, Vajrasvan and Ikshvaku lived ages ago. And you and I, we are of today. How could you have taught some person that ancient? And Krishna smiles at him. He says, the Lord said, many births of mine have passed. This is not the first time I have taken birth here. I have come here ever so many times. And so one of those times long ago I have taught. And mind you, recent mystics of the recent past also have made it quite clear upon the basis of their enlightened wisdom and intuitive knowledge, they made it quite clear that the recurrence of a birth, a new birth after a Jivatma or individual soul has cast aside one body does not always immediately occur. It is not always soon after one has cast aside a body, immediately he takes another body, is born again. It's not that way. It doesn't go that way. It can occur. He may get into another birth maybe within 10 months or 1 year. Or he may be born again after 50 years, 500 years, or maybe a couple of thousand years. It makes no difference upon that plane. Here, the time calculation seems to be either short or long or very long. But this time measure does not prevail in the plane where the departed soul transits after having given up the body here. And so, 2000 years, 5000 years is nothing. There can be long intervals between one birth and another birth. And so when Krishna says, I have been here many times, he may even refer to a period covering maybe 50,000 years or 100,000 years. I have been here many times. Many births of mine have passed, and also he says, same with you also, Arjuna. This is not the first time you are here on earth. As one of the prince of the Pandava dynasty, no? You have been here many times. The only difference is, in this we are both same. I have also been here many times in the past, you have also been here many times in the past. Only difference is, you don't know anything except this birth. You remember nothing. You have no knowledge of anything previous to this birth, whereas it's all before me, like the palm of my hand. I know all my previous births. I know your births also. You don't know your own previous births. This is the difference. I have that knowledge because omniscience transcends the factors of time and space. So there is nothing of the past that is hidden, nothing of the future that is hidden. Everything is presently known. That is omniscience. That is omniscience of God. But what about seeking souls, aspirants, who by dint of sheer sadhana and yoga practice attain God consciousness, cosmic consciousness, and ascended into a state of all-knowingness. They did not have this knowledge before, but they got it because they attained illumination and they raised their consciousness to the high plane of God. And in their case, the term used, oh, he is a jnani, he is an enlightened being, he knows everything past and present. They don't mention omniscience. They don't call this person omniscient. They call him, in Sanskrit, Trikala Jnani. Trikala Jnani. He is a person endowed with knowledge of all the three periods of time. He can, if he wishes, try to go into meditation and get anything from that which has been and passed away. He can project himself into the future and get knowledge of what is still to come. So he has the ability to know occurrences and state of things, both past, future and the present, of course, goes without saying. Therefore he is called Trikala Jnani. Jnani you know. Jnani you know. And Kala means time. Tri is the suffix for threefold time. He is a person, a knower of the threefold time. Okay? Here it is omniscience. O Arjuna, many births of mine have passed as well as of thine. I know them all, but thou knowest not. You have no intuitive knowledge. The eye of wisdom has not yet opened in you. Okay? And therefore, your power of vision is limited and you could not know your previous birth, but I being omniscient, I know them all. Even when in the second chapter, the Lord, the teacher, talking to his student Arjuna, referring even to this individual soul, he says, unborn, eternal, permanent is this being indwelling the body and is not affected when the body is slain. Whether the body is alive or dead, it is not at all affected. Even when this declaration the Lord makes with reference to the individual soul, you are unborn. He who is ever perfect, all full, infinite, eternal. How can he say that I have been born many times, you have also been born many times, I know it but you don't know it? What is this? Peculiar mystery. How the eternal, ever-existing being be born, when Lord Krishna himself says, "Oh Arjuna, you are never born, neither do you die. Why do you bother about this little battle?" So, next verse, he makes clear this very what shall I say? A point which we cannot understand. Yes. He makes clear this incomprehensible state of affairs. He says, though I am unborn and of imperishable nature, and though I am the Lord of all beings, yet ruling over my own nature, now he lets the cat out of the bag. He says, I am born through my own Maya. I appear to be born, I appear to have passed away, again I appear to be reborn, again to have passed away. All this is through the play of my own cosmic power of illusion. Houdini, he used to flabbergast audiences, thousands filling a great auditorium and a theatre. He used to come on the stage and audience would see incredible things happen. Incredible things happening. Of course, paid. And a person floating there, something coming out of nowhere, and an empty pot being put there, covered over by cloth, and hey presto, and then the cloth is removed, and there's a plant full of flowers, and then fruits, and he gives it to eat also to the audience. And then calls someone, and have you got a watch? In those days, they had pocket watches more than wrist watches. And puts it in a handkerchief. Calls the assistant. Come with a hammer. In front of him, he's the watch. Finished. It will even be a costly gold watch. And he says, what can I do? Now you'd better go and take your seats. It's finished. And then afterwards, forgets all about it and goes on into other acts, doing a number of other acts. And I have seen certain things also. And then suddenly, after maybe half an hour or 45 minutes, when this person has been very uncomfortable throughout, he says, now I have a debt to repay. I don't know. Of course, I have noted the company which manufactured the watch. Who knows, I could replace it. All these things he says. Or maybe the gentleman is unnecessarily worrying. Did you really come on the stage and give me the watch? Yes, of course. How can you say that? Who are witnesses? Everyone says we have seen it. No. That's not a fact. Someone like me, yes, I have seen it. He did go. He did go. What do you mean? Gentlemen, will you please see whether you have really given your watch to me? And then this man puts his hand, what is it? He has taken it and given it to him, and he has, in front of him, hit it with the hammer, and the watch is there. I mean, these things, and I have seen, of course, not a big Houdini, with billboard, advertisement and all those things, and band procession, just like the circus. Ordinary wandering magicians. Just their equipment is a bamboo post, which is very tough but very, very flexible, and one heavy basket is hanging to this end, one heavy basket is hanging on the other end. They have got all their entire magic equipment in these two baskets, and they carry it on their shoulder, balancing it. So it goes on like that when they walk. And wife trailing behind with a little bag of tricks herself. Maybe he has got a little son or a daughter. So 3 people, or sometimes 4 people. If he's got a younger kid brother, he brings him also along with him. So the whole family travels. And I have seen them coming and sitting in front of the porch, open porch. See? Open on all sides, but of course, roofed over porch, where the car or the horse carriage comes and stops. Even when it's raining, you can get up without getting wet. And brings his things and peace. Of course, sometimes much to our discomfort, if the elders were busy and all that, they didn't want to bother. They say, hey, go away, no magic. We used to feel very sorry. We said, no, let him. But sometimes when they were free, we call them, let him show. Okay. 1 hour, 1.5 hours of absolute wonderment, fascination. And then 2 of the acts, big basket, one of the baskets he will take, open it, and tie up his wife with rope, and then put her inside. See, we are all seeing. He has no props, no stage settings, no special effects, nothing. See? Just he comes there and right in front of us, puts her into the basket, and then closes the lid and puts a cloth over it. And afterwards, asks the other fellow, brother or someone, takes a big sword. See? And we are just transfixed. And while we are looking at it, holding our breath, he starts piercing the basket with the sword. From all sides, from this side, that side, all the 4 sides, and it goes right from the top to the bottom, and dozen places. He said, no, murder. You almost expect to see the blood oozing out from behind. And he himself afterwards says, oh, what has happened? All right, Allah. And then after some time, he makes some little talk. Now, for the next act, I've got to get something. And she has got it. How can I make the next act? He tells us, show you, has run into trouble. Well, and he calls her name aloud, and she comes from some corner of the garden. And the box is as it is. We have seen her being tied up and put into it, the lid put over it, and then all these horrible things happen. And then she comes from outside, the box is remaining as it is. I have seen it with my own eyes. And they will take a empty glass case, which has a tin base, and all the other 5 sides glass, transparent glass. You can look, he gives it to you. You can see, top is glass, all the 4 sides of glass. And he says something, suddenly holds it near his ear, and big ball appears, tuck, 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 hitting the glass sides, as we are seeing it. Big ball. And then afterwards he calls out aloud something and does it again. what happens is there are two smaller balls accommodating themselves. One big ball used to fill the whole thing. Now, different colors. After again he does that big ball. And then, look, see? Yeah, empty. He gives it to you, empty. Nothing inside. Huh? And the famous thing which Englishmen have seen, but I have not seen. Englishmen have seen and they have described it. There are books that have described it. They call it the famous Indian rope trick. Huh? And a coil of rope is there, and then he starts chanting something and the rope suddenly uncoils itself. Ah,
In Brussels.
see, yes, see. And it goes right up.
Indian fakir.
Okay, yes. It goes up, and then he asks his brother, go up. So he climbs over that rope and disappears. At the top of the rope he disappears. And then afterwards come a lot of big noises, as though there's a fight going on there. Fight going on. And then pieces of hand and feet start falling down. My brother has met with a great big misfortune, tragedy. Now finished. Everything is there. And so he says, all right, fate is fate. Kismat, inshallah. And so he brings the rope down. And afterwards, in the same way, he is doing some magic, and then someone calls, hey brother, what are you doing? You have forgotten me. Hey, where are you talking from? Here I am. He comes from behind. See? And this they have seen, they have described, the famous fakir's
We have seen.
rope trick.
He cuts his helper's head.
Aha.
That man with his head in his arm is walking on his sword. We have seen in Brussels.
Right in front of the audience, you know, with nothing to conceal them and no special room and all that. This I have seen. Yeah. He cuts off, beheads the person, and then the person carries the head, walking in front of you. And so, they can do this right in front of your eyes. With their little Maya. What about he with this Mahamaya? He says, therefore, oh Arjuna, I know all these things. And so, anticipating Arjuna's question, what are you saying? You say, you told me a little while ago that I am unborn, deathless. Neither weapons can cleave me, nor water wet me, nor fire burn me, nor wind dry me, and I am unborn, eternal, permanent, immortal, imperishable, indestructible, and you are telling, I am born and died, I am born and died, and now you yourself say you are born and died. How come? Even before Arjuna asks this question, the Lord himself anticipates this question and already gives him the answer. Though I am unborn of imperishable nature, though I am the Lord of all beings, yet ruling over my own nature, I am born by my own mind, power of illusion. And sometimes there is a special reason why I, who have no necessity of being born at all, I am yet born. I take birth. Why this? Because the individual soul, due to ignorance and sense of doership, I am doing this, I am doing that, he comes becoming subject to the law of karma and the inevitable necessity of experiencing the fruits of karma. So he comes within the law of karma. because of his ignorance and identification with the body, mind, limbs, etc. And due to identification, having the feeling that I am the doer, I am doing, because you are the doer, then you have to reap the consequences of your action, which may be good consequences. You have to reap the happiness that comes out of it, or if it is negative consequences, negative action, you have to reap the negative consequences of it. See, it is all just. It is not as though many people get into the idea. Law of karma means punishment for what? All the nasty things you have done. That's only half the truth. It's not that. The positive and negative karma. If you have done a lot of negative karma, you do have to pay in the form of the unpleasant offshoot of that negative karma. But if you are someone who has done a lot of good, auspicious, positive karma, you are made to be born again, because you have. But then, in order to reap the golden harvest of the positive, beautiful outcome of your positive action, it's also equal. So, law of karma does not always necessarily mean the big stick, and so it hits you on the head because you have done something wrong. It's not that. It's only a partial view of karma. Karma means, they say it very plainly in language in India. शुभाशुभ कर्म के फल सुख दुखादि भोगने के लिए, that is to experience the happiness and misery of the auspicious and inauspicious karmas that have been done previously. The individual soul takes birth, so they are very clear about the view of karma. To reap the result in the form of happiness is misery coming out of auspicious and inauspicious acts performed. So, due to being within the operation of the law of karma, the individual soul is willingly required to take birth. No such situation prevails with God, because he is not, he is above karma. So he has no karma. So he does not have to take birth. And yet he takes birth. Why? He says, whenever there is decay of righteousness, O Bharata, and the rise of unrighteousness, I manifest myself. So my so-called birth is a manifestation of myself. From my unmanifest nature, I manifest myself in order to set right once again and bring a sort of a balance between righteousness and unrighteousness. If there is serious disbalance between these two, I manifest myself. He uses the word manifest myself. See? He says, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sridhamniham. When there is a rise of unrighteousness and a decay of righteousness, I come and manifest myself. Dharma, the derivative Sanskrit meaning of the term, that which upholds, that which sustains, that which supports. That's a benign function. Dharma, that which sustains and holds together, upholds, that is dharma. There is no proper equivalent to this term in any foreign language. That which helps a man, that which helps the individual soul to attain emancipation or liberation, that is also dharma. It upholds not only the secular setup, it also upholds your inner spiritual life. It upholds your yoga, it upholds your sadhana, and ultimately allows the sadhana to rise up into liberation, ultimate liberation. Where dharma is not there to support your sadhana, in spite of sadhana, you don't make headway. It goes down the drain. So it becomes only effort, but without any necessary progress, commensurate with the effort, there is not the result, because due to lack of dharma. That which helps a man to attain moksha or salvation also is dharma. That which makes a man irreligious and unrighteous is adharma, is the contrary of dharma. That which elevates a person and helps him in reaching the goal of life and attaining self-knowledge is dharma. That which pulls down the aspiring soul and hurls the jiva down into the abyss of worldliness and ignorance is adharma. So he gives a overall generic definition of dharma and adharma in terms of aspiration and spiritual life. So he says, this is why I am born. I manifest myself. When there is decay of righteousness and rising up of unrighteousness, I am born. For the protection of the people of goodness and for the destruction of those who are wicked and for the establishment or rather re-establishment of righteousness on earth, I am born in every age. Many times this thing happens, this situation. So whenever this happens, I take birth. I am born in every age. Dushkrata is evildoers, those who lead a life of unrighteousness, break the law of the society, who are dishonest, greedy, and injure others, who take possession of the property of others by violence, and who do atrocities and crimes of various sorts. To put an end to them, I am born. He who thus knows me in this true light, that I have no need of being born, yet I manifest myself and I am born for this particular specific cosmic purpose. He who thus knows me in the true light, he who thus understands my divine birth. See, divine birth because it is not brought about due to any necessity or as a result of the operation of the law of karma. No, it is spontaneous will, through divine will, therefore it is divine birth. One who thus fathoms the mystery of my divine birth and my divine actions during that birth. Such a person who has known me and my divine birth and my divine activities, when he passes away, he does not come back again. Because already he has understood the higher mystery of divine activity. He, having abandoned the body, is not born again. He comes to me, O Arjuna, because he has already known me, he has got to know me. Therefore he comes to me. The Lord, though apparently born, is always beyond birth and death. Though apparently active for firmly establishing righteousness, is ever beyond all actions. One who knows this secret is never born again. Having known the true nature of the divine deity, he attains knowledge of the self and becomes liberated even while living. So, he comes to the point which I have just now made with the analogy of the magician. Gurudev says, the birth of the Lord is an illusion only. He appears to be born. It does not form part of cosmic phenomena. Therefore they say he is aprakrita. Prakriti is cosmic phenomena. Aprakrita. It is divine. It is unique to the Lord only, peculiar and unique to the Lord only. Though he appears in human form, actually he is not born into matter. So they say the body of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama and all that, it was not material. It was pure consciousness. He assumes a body through pure consciousness, not through the coming into a combination of the five elements, fire, earth, air, water, ether. So all our bodies are due to the coming into combination of five elements, and at death they disintegrate into their respective elements. But not so the Lord. His body is pure consciousness. Of course, condensed and solidified in order to appear real in this earth plane. When his avatar leela is over, it gets absorbed into pure consciousness back again, not the fire element. freedom from attachment, freed from attachment, freed from fear, freed from anger, ever absorbed in me, taking refuge in me, purified by the fire of the divine knowledge. Many souls have attained my absolute being. He says, during all these various incarnations, many fortunate souls having encountered me, having fathomed the mystery of my birth, they have taken refuge in me and they have risen above their human nature, fear, anger, greed, hatred, etc. And they have attained illumination. And the fire of this knowledge has burnt away their karma and they have come and attained me. See? When one gets knowledge of the self-attachment to sense objects ceases. When one realizes that one is constant, indestructible, the eternal self, and that change is simply a quality of the body and matter, then that person becomes fearless. When one becomes desireless, when one is free from selfishness, when one beholds self only everywhere, how can anger affect that being with whom he is to be angry when he sees the Brahman in all things? He who takes refuge in Brahman becomes firmly devoted to him. He becomes absorbed in him through jnana. The tapas and jnana is the fire of wisdom. Just as fire burns cotton, so also jnana tapas, the austerity of wisdom, burns all vasanas, trishnas, samskaras, sins and all actions and purifies the aspirant. Vasanas are subtle hidden impressions. Vasanas are certain latent tendencies due to constant repetition of certain type of action. They come to inherit in the Anandamaya Kosha, the fifth sheath of the jiva, as latent tendencies. Sanskaras are latent impressions, and trishnas are cravings of various sorts. They burn up. The fire of wisdom burns up samskaras, vasanas, trishnas, subtle impressions, subtle latent tendencies, and all cravings, and all actions. What are these burning up of actions? See? The accumulated actions which have not yet had a chance to actually work themselves out. So there is a big accumulated store which portion by portion is taken, allotted for being experienced and settled in any given particular incarnation. So that is the accumulation, the store. It says one attains knowledge means the whole accumulated store is burnt to ashes. Afterwards they cannot make the person to be born again. So all karmas, accumulated store of karmas gets burned at one single stroke the moment knowledge is attained. Thus, many have attained me, having known my divine nature and taken refuge in me whenever I have been born. But even those who have not seen me, not lived contemporaneously when I was incarnated on earth, even having heard about me, if they develop a certain devotion to me and wish to approach me, no matter in what manner they try to approach me, I make myself available to them. I fulfill the aspiration of everyone. No one who sincerely aspires and seeks me is ever deprived of my vision and my experience. In whatever way men approach me, even so do I reward them. My path do men tread in all ways. O son of Pritha. This, when it is commented, sometimes become a little uncomfortable to Muslims or Christians or those who are following Zoroastrianism, Judaism. Krishna says, no matter how they are approaching me, they will come to me. So the Christian mystics also, they come to me. The Islamic Sufis also, they come to me. So-called, if there is some religion which has not yet been created, and it will, in some distant future, some religion will crop up. And there people start seeking out. They also, no matter by what path, because he identifies himself with that one eternal, imperishable, cosmic reality that ever was before anything else was. That reality is behind and beyond all religions that have ever existed, that are existing today, and that may come into being and exist in some distant future. He is the great eternal reality behind and beyond all religions. Whoever existed when no prophet or messiah or messenger had come, when no scripture existed, and what to say of places of worship? There are no worshippers. Even humanity had not been created. The world was not created. Humanity had not come into being. So what to say of either temple or synagogue or church or mosque or any, no place of worship was there because there were no worshippers. Long before creation, I existed. It is I, therefore, who later on, when prophets and messiahs were sent and some system of religion and theology and worship grew around their teachings, and then they had different types of places of worship, different scriptures came into existence glorifying me. I am that being glorified in all scriptures. I am that being adored in all places of worship. I am that being whom all religions point out ultimately, even though they think I am their particular God, they give me a name and a label, but I am that being, beyond and behind all existence. See? I am the ancient being, Purana Purusha. In whatever way men approach me, even so do I reward them. My path do all men tread in all ways. No matter what seeker is seeking the ultimate reality, they are treading the path that leads to me. Here Krishna doesn't talk of himself as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva or the friend of Arjuna. He speaks in an exalted consciousness of his own eternal, imponderable, transcendental nature. That's what he refers to here. They who long after success in actions in this world, they want to get immediate results. They want to have name, fame, wealth, success, prosperity, acclaim, lordship. If not now, they want to become a king next birth. They worship the lesser celestial beings through various pujas and various fire ceremonies, all with a desire, with a particular limited, finite desire in their heart. They worship these lesser aspects of my being, the lower celestial ones. Nothing wrong. They get what they want. They get what they want. And there are some not very nice people, nasty people. They are not satisfied with getting what they want. They seek to do some harm by getting even with someone who happens to have displeased them. And so, in a dark and negative left-hand manner, they engage in some worship of hobgoblins, lower denizens of the lower netherworld, spirits, hobgoblins, and they also, that is also a science, not a very good science, and so they also get what they want, and they also succeed in doing some mischief, causing some discomfiture to someone, and doing some negative things. But be that as it may, lower beings worshipping lower, they get lower results. The celestials, they get satisfaction in little petty manner, But those who worship me, not caring either for this or that, O Arjuna, they attain me. They attain me. So which is worthwhile, you just think of and then opt for it. See? You know, some people give money to the Salvation Army if they want to send relief to an earthquake area or a tidal wave affected area or a famine area or a great war has taken place and refugees, millions have come out, they are living in camps. What is happening now in Kuwait? So to send aid, they give money to Salvation Army. So they get their objective attained through Salvation Army or Meals for the Millions, and there are various charitable foundations that rush to, or Red Cross Society, Swiss Red Cross Society. Some people make use of their money, hire people in the underworld to bump off someone, Al Capone, someone, you see. They also make use of their money. They have got much less beautiful goals, but they also manage to get, so they give some money to some hired thug, as they call it. And so they don't want to do it, they get it done through these people. It is like that. Worship of lower deities in order to do some negative thing, and worship of lesser celestials to get some. But both of them are blind, misguided. One that is to be attained is that eternal reality, the all-perfect being. I am wondering whether something is happening to my skin or some little kind bug has wanted to pay attention to me or some irritation. I don't know. I think it is subjective. Caused out of my own body's malfunctioning somewhere, some nerve I think. So, he says, they who long after success in actions in this world, they sacrifice to the gods. Gods mean the lesser celestial aspects of my being. Because success is quickly attained in this world of men, out of action, some action, appropriate action, success is quickly attained. The fourfold, it is very difficult to attain knowledge of the self or self-realization. Self-realization demands perfect renunciation. The aspirant should possess the four means, that is sadhana chatushtaya, viveka, vairagya, shad sampatti, samadhamati diksha uparati, shraddha samana, and mumukshutva. Keen longing for liberation. It demands perfect renunciation. Aspirants should possess the four means and many other virtues besides. Of the many other virtues, the cardinal virtue is truthfulness, purity of conduct and character, perfect harmlessness, compassion, non-injury. Cardinal. He will have to practice constant and intense meditation, whereas earthly success can be attained quickly and far easier. The Vedic injunctions based upon castes and orders are meant for the men of the world only. Fourfold castes have been created by me according to the differentiation of gunas and karmas. Though I am the author thereof, know me as the non-doer and immutable. So, saying something, immediately he answers a question that might arise out of it. I have created the fourfold division of caste and ashramas in accordance with the gunas. And if Arjuna asks, why did you have to create these castes, etc., O Lord? I never created them. Next, he says, I never created them. It is some thing beyond your comprehension. See? Though I am the author thereof, know me as the non-doer and immutable. I am the author, but I have not written this book. It's like saying that. And both are correct. See? Or saying, I have written this book, but I am not the author. I am a nuisance. Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ by Levi. See? He wrote it, but he is not the author of it. In the same way, one may be the author of it, but he might not have written it. It might have been given to him. Thus, he says, I have created a next half, he says, I am the author thereof. Know me as the non-doer and immutable. Okay. Though the Lord is the author of the caste system, etc., he is yet not the author as he is a non-doer. He does nothing. He needs to do nothing. He is nishkriya, beyond the three gunas, beyond the pairs of opposites, transcendental. How can he do anything? Okay. He is in the realm of non-duality. There is no action. Action means there are two people are there. Two things are there. He is not subject to samsara. Really, here Gurudev comes to the point, really, Maya does everything. Maya is the real author. Okay? Society can exist in a flourishing state if all people fulfill their duties. Otherwise there will be chaos. Rupture and fighting. Therefore it is necessary. If one small section of society down stools, whole thing comes to a standstill, comes to a stop. What will happen to a big city if the people who come with a huge truck 2 days in a week and carry off all our garbage bags? If they say, no, why should we do it dirty one? Stop that. What will happen? Whole of New York will have to move about like this, and the perfumers will have good trading, roaring trade, Rudy Cologne and all that. If one little section says, no, why should I do this work? So, division of labor and each performing one's duty is necessary for the order and progress of society and the functioning of society. Otherwise, chaos will be. So, the caste system has a basis in rationality and logic. See? But any good thing can be exploited, perverted, and vitiated. That is not due to the system, that is due to the human factor in the system. Okay? You know, you are not entirely not without this knowledge that the one thing upon which a nation depends for its protection, for its defense from enemy, is the army. The army. It is what makes us sleep soundly. All is safe. Our troops are, they are quite capable of. Now, you all know, there have been major scandals when top brass has sold its secrets, closely guarded secrets, to the other country. So, treacherously, taking huge sums of money maybe, and selling the secrets to some spy. And then, when they get wind that somewhere some counter-espionage has already fallen wise of this, I am likely to be nabbed, they defect and disappear from the scene. Okay? At one time or other, all great nations have been rocked by these type of major scandals, necessitating a country to scrape all its plan for some super submarine or some sophisticated weaponry because all the blueprints have already gone into their hands. If they manufacture it afterwards, it will be of no use. They know everything about it. See, they are ready to counter it. So, already halfway through they must have been in the manufacture. Millions might have been spent to dump the whole thing, scrape the whole thing, because already the secrets are gone. These things have happened. So, that which is supposed to protect you, that itself. Why? Not because the system is defective, but the human factor. The human factor can vitiate anything. That is what happened to the caste system also. Then the Lord says, even though the explanation is given, he is not the author, he does nothing, he is the non-doer, Maya does everything, yet it is very difficult to comprehend it. So take for granted that Lord does engage in action. He says, O Arjuna, actions do not taint me. See? Actions, good or bad, have their impact and effect upon the doer. See? You go on doing good actions, you become nobler and nobler. It enables you, uplifts you. See? If you go on doing very wrong actions, soon you become corrupt. You go down and down and down. Your conscience becomes blunted. And afterwards, it becomes second nature to you. Finish. But he says, any type of action I seem to engage in, actions do not taint me, nor have I a desire for the fruits of action. He who knows me thus, he is not bound by action. The indwelling Lord, who is the non-doing doer, who never does everything but gets everything done. Because without him nothing will happen. One who knows that being, who the actionless, non-doing being, who enables all actions to be done, one who knows that being within, he attains liberation. He is not bound by action even while he is here. He who knows me thus is not bound by actions. Commentary. As I am neither egoism nor desire for fruits, I am not bound by action. Worldly people think they are the agents. They also expect fruits from their actions. So they take birth again and again. If anyone works without attachment, without egoism, without expectation of the fruits of action, he too will not be bound by action because he follows my pattern of functioning. He will be freed from birth and death. Having known this, the ancient seekers after freedom also performed action in this manner. They did not become bound. Having known this, the ancient seekers after freedom also performed action. They engaged in action. They did it with this knowledge, therefore they were not bound. So Arjuna, now you also follow that example and engage in action. It will not bind you. Because Arjuna was saying, oh, if I engage in this war and kill all these people, what will happen? I will be great sin I will be committing and I will go to hell. Confusion will come and the whole society. All this he was saying. No. If you act as I just now explained to you and understanding this, the way in which your great men of wisdom acted in the past, you follow them, emulate them, and if you act in this way, nothing will happen to you. Therefore, do thou also perform action likewise, O Arjuna, as did the ancients in the olden times. Yes. Knowing thus that the self can have no desire for the fruits of actions is all full and sufficient and cannot be tainted by actions, knowing thus that anyone cannot be tainted if he works without egoism, attachment and expectation or desire. Perform action this way. If your heart is impure, perform action for the purification of your heart. If you have attained knowledge of self, work for the well-being of the whole world. The ancients such as Janaka and others performed actions in this wise in the olden times. So, do thou also perform action now, O Arjuna. What is action? What is inaction? Even when you are right in the midst of intense activity, if you are not the sense of doership, it is inaction. Because you are not the actor, you are not the doer. So no action is being done so far as you are concerned. But action is taking place, but no action is being done. Because you have known the truth behind it. So Prakriti may act. So there can be a state of absolute inaction, non-activity in the midst of action. What is action? What is inaction? As to this, even the wise are confused. Wise are not clear. They are deluded. Wise means worldly wise, who may have intellect, who may have learning, erudition, university, academic scholarship, but they are deluded regarding what is action, what is inaction. Therefore, I shall teach thee such action. It means I shall teach you the nature of action as well as inaction, and of inaction in action. Inaction in the midst of action. I will teach you. This is a great secret. I will teach thee such action. Such action means the way of engaging in action yet being not the actor, therefore not being bound by action. By knowing which, thou shalt be liberated from all evil. For verily, the true nature of action enjoined by the scriptures should be known. Also, the true nature of forbidden actions also is to be known. And also, inaction is to be known. What is the right action which you should engage in, which is beneficial to you? What is the wrong action which should not be engaged in because it will be harmful to you? And what is that state when you are engaged neither in this action nor that action? All this, it has to be known because you are in this world in a field of activity, ceaseless activity. Unless the secret is known, you are going to get bound by it. For verily, the nature of action, both forbidden as well as enjoined, should be known, as well as inaction should be known. Hard to understand is the nature of this principle called activity, action. It may be the righteous action, the unrighteous action, or immoral action, or inaction in the midst of action. All this has to be known. Hard to understand it is. It is a very subtle subject matter. And he puts forward a very unusual proposition. Knowing this, thoroughly trying to grasp the extremely subtle nature of this thing called action, thoroughly trying to grasp this inner subtle nature of this thing called action. He who seeth inaction in action, I am acting yet I am not acting. He who seeth inaction in action, and who seeth action in inaction, he is the wise amongst men. He is the yogi, and he is the true performer of all actions. Sun sets, night falls, darkness pervades the earth. Everything ceases, all activity ceases. The birds no longer fly, animals no longer wander about. Everyone man also retires to bed. I mean, when there was sane living, when electricity had not come, and the late night show on TV did not exist, people were rising with the lark and going to bed with the lamp. They followed nature's cycle, and everything functioned well at that time. There was less of disease, more of health. So he says, when night falls, everything goes into. When sun rises, everything becomes active. Everything, the whole world springs into activity. But one never realizes all this has been possible because the sun has appeared, right, arisen beyond the eastern horizon. All dynamism, all activity commences. But the sun himself, he really does nothing. But due to him, so much gets done. See? That is my place. That is my nature. The Lord says, be you also like that. See? Initiator of action. He is a yogi. So the sun is the great performer of all activity, really. But though he is actionless. See? All activity starts getting performed just because this being comes up the eastern horizon. And then this being sinks beyond the western horizon. So all cessation of activity also is directly responsible. He brings it about. All commencement of activity also he brings about. But himself, he never acts. He does nothing yet. Becomes the factor for the commencement of all action. Then great commentary is given by Gurudev about this acting and yet not acting. Not acting yet being engaged in activity. See? It is something like this, you see. A general never goes to the front. He sits in his headquarters and with the whole map of the field of activity, war area is in front of him. So he decides a strategy, and gives instructions, it is conveyed to the various units they are operating in the actual front, and they immediately move into activity. So the actual action is done by the private, the soldier, the sergeant, the captain. But in another way you say, the actual activity is done by the general. If he did not plan the strategy, outline a certain course of action and did not give the order, no action would have been possible. So, if a captain in charge of a submarine has managed to sense an approaching enemy vessel and then immediately got the radar beeping and then exactly its course, its direction, the angle of its the direction and its speed, everything is calculated. Then presses a button and releases a torpedo. And true enough, straight it, so mathematical accuracy has been sent, it's a split second accuracy. It goes, hits the target and there's a big explosion. Now, who exploded the vessel? Is it the torpedo or the captain who pressed the button? The actual thing was done by the torpedo. But the pressing of the button alone made it possible, otherwise the torpedo would have been in the belly of the submarine. And so the non-acting actor is the captain. And the apparent action is being done by some other factor. Okay? This has to be understood. Ultimately, he is the performer, Supreme Lord is the performer of all action. Okay? All this he says in order to induce Arjuna to get out from his, no, I shall not do, state of rejection of activity and engage in the right duty that is to be done. Whose undertakings are all devoid of desires and purposes. Whose undertakings are devoid of all desires and purposes, and whose actions have been burned by the fire of knowledge, him the wise people call a sage. A sage is one who is devoid of all desire, all purposes. If without desire, without purpose, how can a sage engage in action? Here you must understand. When he says without desire, without purposes means without any personal desire. He has no desire for any personal gain out of the action being initiated. And he has no particular purpose of his own to fulfill, of his own. Lord Krishna has no particular desire and no particular purpose to fulfill. Yet he asks Arjuna to do action. His purpose is the welfare of all beings, the establishment of righteousness. And his desire is that it should be brought about by the annihilation of the wicked Kauravas. And therefore it can only be done if Arjuna takes up his arms and does his duty. So he desires Arjuna to stand up and act, fulfill his duty, and fulfill the purpose of eliminating these wicked people. So automatically, by their elimination, righteousness becomes established. Unrighteousness ceases to prevail. Yes, he has no personal axe to grind, as they say. He has nothing to gain out of this. Of one who is devoid of attachment, who is liberated, whose mind is established in knowledge, who acts for the sake of sacrifice, self-giving, the whole action becomes dissolved. Whole action becomes dissolved in Brahman. In such a being, everything is Brahman. The action is Brahman. And so he gives an analogy of a very, very familiar, process which is within the knowledge of everyone in those days. In those days, social life ordained that every householder should perform a daily fire ceremony, every day. So therefore 24 hours, an unbroken fire was always kept burning. A perpetual fire was always in one corner of the house. So every day after bath he has to go and do the fire ceremony and then commence the other activities of the day. So offering some oblations into the fire ceremony was a familiar figure within the knowledge of everyone. So he says, he takes that figure of speech, he takes that as an analogy. Brahman is the oblation. Brahman is the ingredient. They usually make the oblations of barley grain well mixed with ghee or butter. Brahman is the clarified butter or the ghee. Brahman is the oblation poured into the fire, and that fire also is Brahman. Everything is Brahman and Brahman only. Brahman verily shall be reached by him who always sees Brahman in activity, in action. All aspects of activity. The doer, the one towards whom it is being done, and the actual action that the doer does to the receiver of the action. All this is, I see only Brahman. Such a being, for him, even when action is being committed, he is not acting. Hari Om Tat Sat. Then he goes on to elaborate it in certain ways. Do some people have more prana than others? Is a question. Maybe take it for the night satsang. Night satsang. You are giving me something?
Yes, I am.
Oh, then bring me that also. Bring me that also. Because if it is too hot, I may perhaps moderate it by adding a little of the not so hot. Brahmarpanam. Om Tat Sat. Satchidananda Bhavani. drinking this mint tea, I am reminded of a caption. It is more mint and less honey. You could have done it with a little more honey. Perhaps you limited yourself to the little packet I gave you. Huh? It had leaked in transit. So the packet was not really full, sufficient. It reminded me of a little car where there is a very lovable little dog, one of those little hairy puppies. He says, what I would like is less weak and more weekend. There will be many little school-going children who would agree with this puppy. What I really like is less weak and more some wise guy thought it out. Another kitten is looking at you through a little car. He says, I really mean to do some hard work, but every now and then so many other more attractive things come in my way. So, I mean it. The writer of this note is already on my memo list. Not at the bottom of the list, but more or less priority slab. Okay? So, very much so. Shanti, Shanti. Only thing is, if I could have the power of bilocation and multiply, at one time I could do half a dozen things. Yes. Lord Krishna had that. He was at the same time in many places, doing many things. Yeah. Yes, 16,000. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Lokasamatkar Sukino Hondu. Asato ma Sadgame Tamaso ma Jyotirgame Churmanatangame. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadapati Purnasya Purnamadai. Purnameva Vashishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bhagavan.